Good morning, members. It's now 10 o'clock, so I'd like to call the meeting to what passes for order in this committee. So I'd like to begin by welcoming everyone to this meeting of the Environment and Green Investment Committee at New Shire Hall. The council allows filming and photography at its public meetings, so please feel free to take pictures and use social media during the meeting. Can I ask, though, that everyone present turn their mobile phones to silent or vibrate whilst the meeting is taking place? Please be aware that this meeting is being live streamed and that a recording of the meeting will be available to view on the County Council's website. There is no fire alarm test scheduled for today, so if the alarm sounds, please leave by the nearest marked fire exit and assemble in the car park. The closest fire escape is through the middle doors on my left. So the first item on the agenda is apologies for absence. Can I ask the Democratic Services Officer, please, to report any apologies for absence?
Apologies received from Councillor Milnes, substituted by Councillor Slatter.
Thank you very much indeed. Councillor Bradnam, thank you. And does any member wish to declare any disclosable pecuniary interest or non-statutory disclosable interest? Not seeing any. Thank you. So the next item is the minutes of the meeting held on the 13th of July. And we're being asked to approve the minutes of two separate committee meetings that were held on the 13th of July 2023 as accurate records, including both a public and confidential set of minutes for each meeting. If any committee member wants to raise a question on the accuracy of the minutes only, can they do so now? Although if there are any issues with the confidential minutes, I would suggest that we deal with those at the end of the meeting. So Councillor Bradnam.
Thank you, Chair. For the meeting that I would normally have attended but couldn't, I gave my apologies, and Councillor Slatter kindly substituted for me at it. But as you say, there are two meetings, and I'm now struggling to remember whether it was which one it was. But I remember I couldn't attend on the 13th of July, but I thought I had given my apologies.
Okay, thank you. Are we clear as to which meeting that refers to?
I think actually in our agenda pack, I think it's the one on page yes, but it doesn't say that I gave my apologies.
I suspect it's not necessary to note apologies if it's clear that you're being substituted.
Hang on. Sorry, correction. At 139, it does say that. I do apologise.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So no issue. No other issue with the minutes then? Are we happy to accept both sets of minutes as an accurate record? Thank you very much indeed. That's agreed. There's also, there should be an updated action log as well. For the meeting. So is anybody wishing to raise anything on that? Not seeing anything. So, okay, thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry.
So action minutes number 98. To understand that workshop is now organised for early October.
Right, okay.
So it says action ongoing, but we have actually got a date, so that will discharge that one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Frank. And Councillor Slatter.
Yes, related to that one, I was thinking that that would be a workshop of great interest to all members, not just in this committee. And I do wonder if it's online, whether it could be opened up. I know these things are very valuable. Thank you.
That's certainly something we can take away and think about. Yes, thank you very much, Councillor Slatter. We'll give consideration to that suggestion. Otherwise, are we content with the action log? Yep. Okay. Thank you. And then we have received under item 3 no petitions or public questions. So we're going to move now to item 4, which is appointments to outside bodies and internal groups. So I'm going to ask the Democratic Services Officer to present this report, please.
There were two requests for nominations for two appointments. One appointment a new member for Greensand Country Landscape Partnership to replace Councillor Kindersley, and another for their local access forum.
Thank you very much. I'm going to suggest that we defer this outside this meeting for discussions between chairs and vice chairs and spokes. And I understand, having spoken with officers, that those appointments can be made under delegated powers. So if members are content, we can move that outside this meeting. Are we comfortable with that? Councillor Bradnam.
Will members be able to express interest in those posts?
I would very much expect so, but I will assume that lead members of all the groups will be in touch with their members about that. Okay, thank you very much. If you're comfortable with that as a way forward, then we move on to the agenda plan at item 5. And again, ask the Democratic Services Officer to update us on any changes to the agenda plan.
I've received no changes.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Democratic Services Officer? Councillor Slatter.
Yes, it comes to being a visitor, I think. But one of the, I did wonder whether this committee has responsibility for the general provision or strategy and planning of EV charging points for the public, mainly cars, but there are other electric private transport that needs plugging places, and looking forward to whether it lies with this committee to have at least a report that we can share with the public.
Frank, are you able to give a response to that?
I think it may fall within the Housing and Transport Committee remit, but obviously there's clearly interest for this committee. What I'd like to do is I'd just like to clarify, because there's also responsibilities that rest with the combined authority as well. So what I'd like to do is just clarify exactly and then provide a written response so we're all clear, and then we can then take it forward from there, if that's okay, Councillor.
That would be very helpful, because people do ask, what are we doing about it?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's the first point.
Indeed. Thank you very much indeed. So having disposed of those items of business, in order to discuss the detail of the remaining 2 items, we need to move the meeting into private session, excluding the press and public. Members, are you happy that I move the recommendation to move into private session?
Agreed.
The recommendation is to resolve that the press and public be excluded from the meeting on the grounds that the agenda contains exempt information under paragraph 3 of part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972 as amended, and that it would not be in the public interest for this information to be disclosed, and that's information relating to the financial or business affairs of any particular person, including the authority holding that information. So we're content with that, yes? Good. And as this is the final public item on the agenda, I'd like to express my thanks to those members of the public and press who've taken the time to watch the meeting today via the council's website. The committee is due to next meet on the 7th of September. No, I think not, because that is today. So the committee is due to meet next at whatever date is on the schedule. Tamar, are you able to go back to the agenda?